Hey guys, this is Robert Curtis. I'm giving a message here on. It's going to be my second message that I'm posting. It's going to be more of a scriptural thing. A lot of people wonder why I still wear the hat from the church that had me removed and the shirt from the Men of Mariners. And I don't blame the members of the church and the leaders. The leadership of the church, Mariners Church in Irvine, and they got branches throughout, I think, Orange County and Southern California. And why I initially had a love for Mariners is because Kenton Bashore Jr., the senior pastor there, had the tenacity to stand up for the immigrants many years ago, and he went down to the Capitol and stood up for those people that were marginalized and kicked out and done wrong in society. And this is just a message about redemption and giving people second chances. And even though the situation was what it was, this time last year I was removed from church. I was in the front doing prayer with some ministers there, and I turned around after prayer, and there was an Irvine police officer there. I said, "Hey guys, what's going on?" But anyway, they escorted me off because I had a misdemeanor many years ago, and it's caused me some problems in society, but actually, for me, I actually got a U.S. Congressional Award for community service, helping cancer patients and the homeless, and helped start the stand down for veterans in Orange County, the very first one I was intricately involved with. So I've done a lot of good, even though I've had a record, and it's a misdemeanor. But the church can't see themselves past that because of the nature of it, and I was asked by security to leave the premises and never to come back. Now that is not very Christ-like. I mean, Jesus was the kind of guy. Actually, they say, well, you don't have a lot of compassion because you're really hard on preachers. But the thing of it is, who was Jesus hard on? The Pharisees and the scribes, the Sadducees. He was really harsh and critical of them. But who was he compassionate over? He was compassionate for the leper, those kicked out of society, the tax collector, the sinner. He hung around sinners, and the Pharisees in that day couldn't understand that. Well, that's how Jesus Christ handled his ministry. He believed in giving grace and compassion and forgiveness and love and all these things, and we lack a lot of that in the churches today. They have a lot of security at their churches. And they say it in the name of public safety. There's so much evil done in the name of public safety out of fear in our society. And I guess that does overflow into some churches. But I want to challenge the churches out there, the pastors and the ministers that work for these big organizations that have these policies over people and even over grace, to reconsider their position on staff. You want to really be a part of that kind of organization. And a lot of times ministers, they go into an organization not just for the sake of the organization, but for the people, and so you got to look at the culture. If who they are serving seems to be just the pretty people in society, the ones with money, with resources and abilities to put in the collection plate, was that what Jesus was about? Is that what we should be about? And marginalizing, kicking people out, such as myself. And I'm upset about it, not because I was kicked out, but what if there's other people that had backgrounds that were shady and they can't get housing, they can't get jobs and whatever. And actually, I've been proactive. I got ordained a while back after this, so I've been reaching out to those that have been kicked out of society and are marginalized, whether they're the mentally ill, like my son. He's 35 and God gave him a love of a good woman, and gave him. I trained him for a skill, a job, and he has something to live for. So the voices in his head aren't as loud as the love and the hope that he has for a future. Now there are answers out there, and we can be a part of the answer and not a part of the problem. But a lot of times churches, they look at things in the wrong way. It was like the Good Samaritan, to help the guy on the side of the road that was kicked down and robbed by thieves. One of the guys going by says, "Oh man, these thieves might still be here." So they reacted in fear. Now churches like Mariners Church, they're going to be part of my testimony as a pastor. They kicked me out. They marginalized me and people in my category. Whether you're in society, there are people that are mentally ill. There are people that have criminal records that might be on the sex offender registry. And I want to tear into that a little bit. Do you know here in California, the recidivism rate is 0.06% for those guys? After therapy, after probation, after time served, those old boys don't want to go back there. So it's a different place there for them, So they're good citizens. Why can't we let them come back to our churches, come back to our society and the community, and be redeemed and prove themselves worthy? I've done a lot of community service. I've done things. I've reached out to other people, but it really shocked me because my kids grew up in Mariners Church. They went to their kids program and stuff, on their own Sundays, but then I'm more of a voice now, and for people that are marginalized and hated and everything, and I'm out in the community, man, doing things for salons, doing things for haircuts for the homeless and things like that, being engaged, being involved. We shouldn't let things of our past affect our here and now and our future. And there is a thing. America used to be known for a place of second chances. And even our colonies, our first colonies and everything, were predominantly made up of criminals. It's kind of like Australia, they sent their criminal element overseas. So we were rebels. We came from a place of rogues, and those were the kind of men that helped form this nation. And we gave second chances, and then there were the Puritans and things like that. And of course, they got caught up in slavery and all that other stuff. And today, the modern whipping boy, the modern person that to go after for votes is those on the registry, and these people don't want to get out. They don't want to. They don't want to be out in the society scene. They're scared. They're afraid. They don't want to, and they're afraid to get a job because they're afraid that the people might find out about them or whatnot after they've already been through therapy and redeemed and all this. Some of them try to go to church, and they're in the back of the church, back pew, in the dark corner, and just listening to the message. We Christians should stand up for what is right and not what is popular. And if the churches listen to security and not to grace, maybe you should reconsider where you go to church. Are they just addressing the pretty people? Look around. Are there any shaggy people, unkept, unclean, kind of quiet, shy, timid, that they don't quite fit in? It is our job to make them fit in. And praise God, I'm out there. If you guys, anybody wants to talk to me, I'll give you my phone number. It's area code 949-872-8768. And I'll talk to you about it. If you got challenges, you have problems, and you have a relative that's on the registry, he needs a job, he needs help, he needs housing, call me. And these other churches that they look pretty, they put a pretty message out there, But like it says in Matthew 23:3, don't do what they do. Maybe do what they say do, but don't do what they do. Okay? Now this is Robert Curtis, brother in the Lord. And y'all have a blessed day.